It's that time again. It's time for another Saturday night special where we talk about everything rockhounding related. Well, we got some very lovely mail this week. Received a lovely card in the mail, and maybe you can see up there in your corner. I don't know. I save all the letters that I get because it's a very nice thing to receive. I would just like to read this one. I'll obscure their name. They say, "Hello, our family just found your YouTube channel and researching Okanogan County, Washington." That's the biggest county in Washington, and not the most sparsely populated, but pretty sparsely populated. They're going to be purchasing some land up there, and it's full of rocks, and that's an understatement. They say that they have devoured most of the content, and they're thrilled with what I do, and just says thank you. Very nice, very lovely to receive a little card like that. I also received a couple of rocks from a different person, which are very cool. They sent some petrified wood. Oop, sorry. Sent some petrified wood. They say it's from the Yakima Canyon, so not too far from Saddle Mountain. And what's interesting about this petrified wood that they said that it was just being used as landscaping rocks in a relative's flower bed. Look at that piece. If that isn't like a classic kind of like scraggly piece of petrified wood, like nothing is. Very cool. The little piece here, I think I could definitely, I mean, this will obviously fit in my saw. I don't know what to do with this. It's kind of like cool in its own way. Like you could use it for like a display of other things, wash it and all of that. So very, very cool to have a couple of contributions to the collection, you know. Well, I do have something fun to share with you that I've been working on, and if you have watched any of the previous Saturday night specials, well, you've seen some different aspects of this thing. You gotta give me a sec here. I'll put it up here on the bench. There we go. Okay, well, I'm gonna take you off the tripod. So here we go, everybody. Here is the carpet wheel. Maybe you saw this thing completed last week, the actual wheel. Pretty much I'm going to be applying some cerium oxide to that, and it's going to be spinning. So out here on the back side, you can kind of see we got the motor. We got a 12 1/4 inch pulley driving a 3/4 inch shaft. We got the pillow blocks, and that goes and spins this guy. So it's not completely done yet. Let's back you up even more. It's not done yet because I still need to add a switch and do some other stuff. What I'm thinking we could do right now is we'll plug this thing in and you'll see it in operation. My plan is I got the stuff for a switch, and I'm going to mount a switch up right there. I don't really like using a machine where the only on and off is plugging it in. You know, that's just kind of not the best method. But we'll plug this thing in, and you can watch it go. Look at that. So then the plan is take a paintbrush and load this thing with cerium oxide, right? And do that. Currently, it's spinning at about 170 RPM, so I can touch this and it's not that bad, right? So the concept is to be able to take this, right, and buff it out on this big wheel. Now, you look at the size of that, and I'll be able to fit a lot of things on there. I'm very excited to have this up and running at some point here, 100%. But definitely want to add a switch to it. Ooh, it's heavy. And that'll be a great addition to the shop. Now, One of the reasons I'm really looking forward to it is the lack of water involved, okay? You know, one of the problems being out here is wintertime. Winter, I just don't want to, I want to minimize my dealings with water. So that means I can take like this thunder egg, right? I can cut thunder eggs on the oil saw, right? I can take them over to the Richardson sander, get them nice and buffed out, get them up to that 800 grit, and then take them over to the cerium oxide wheel. Richardson's doesn't use water, and the cerium oxide wheel will be using minimal water. I mean, it's not like a basin of water just kind of making everything wet. I mean, that's the problem, right? Like, even if I can heat this space, it's still going to be cold. It's still going to be cold. Now, if you have paid attention to the way YouTube works, here on YouTube, if you click my name, you go to the main channel page, there's a community tab. Now, a lot of people haven't seen this, but I use my community tab to like post little things that I find, stuff going on, stuff that's not worthy of like a full video type of a thing. And well, if you go back 7 months, okay, I'll drop some links down below to them. There's 2 community posts I made about historical opal discoveries in eastern Washington. Now, there was a precious opal discovery in the late 1800s, which set off a opal rush, gem rush. And I'll put links down below to that. You can read about it. Here's so fascinating to me, okay? Here's a photo of what that operation looked like back then. Impressive to see that done just with man and animal. Since then, there really hasn't been any great opal discoveries. Well, I believe that's going to change. There will be a full video at some point here in the future coming on this subject, but I got to show you, okay? There's a person here locally, local to Spokane, eastern Washington out here. And well, she has quite the opal discovery on her property. Oh my gosh. Like, she reached out to my buddy Sean. Sean brought me over there, and a little jaw-dropping to see. I'll throw the photos in of the rocks right here, but needless to say, veins of yellow, white, red, and brown opal just running through her property, private property. And it's kind of like the thing that people dream about, right? Like, you dream about that discovery in your backyard. Well, I mean, the stuff is very pretty. Now, this is all just stuff that was surface picked, right? So, you know, there's going to be some digging happening, of course. Here, let's move you in. Check that out. Now, there is just oodles and oodles and oodles of it. It almost looks like plastic, you know? Now, I have not seen any color play in here, okay? So, like, no flashes of red, no precious sparkles or whatever. But it's still quite nice, and you never know. Well, you never know that if once you start digging and start punching into the ground, what you're going to come up with, right? So this, I just took this over to the wheel and I just ground through it. I mean, obviously we got fractures in here, but I think there's some potential here. You know, she has some beautiful stuff. She's just been picking it up right and left. And, you know, you don't always get to see a discovery of this magnitude. So quite quite impressive to say the least. Here's a little jar of it. Beautiful. So at some point here, there will be a full Opal investigation, which, you know, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Hopefully in the coming weeks, I can make that happen. So, you know, something that I've seen this for a little bit now, and I got to admit, it's kind of like it really irks me. Hear me out. If you're looking for another reason to dislike the platform Facebook, well, here, I'm going to post a great thing on the screen right here. It is now the group expert tags that you can now have as being part of a Facebook group. And it's extremely amusing to me that the tag is given to users by administrators and they give it to themselves. It's even more funny when you see somebody in a Rockhounding group that's an admin that is posting things blatantly wrong and misleading, and they gave themselves the title of group expert. Now, I'm sorry, but like I find that to be so ridiculous, right? Like, you don't get to call yourself an expert, okay? That's like a title bestowed upon you by other people. If somebody is ever going around proclaiming that they're an expert and you should listen to them, that is the time to turn your ears off and not listen to that person, you know? You'll never have an experience with a person that is a true expert in their field, truly the master of it, and they're going to tell you and introduce themselves to you as such. That's just not going to happen, right? Like, I mean, it would be a little bit like, I don't know, I go run around my city block and then give myself a gold trophy and you stand up on a podium for a while. It's like, no, like, those are things bestowed upon you for doing something, not something you just give to yourself. I just had to point that out. I thought it was ridiculous. Like, it just gets more and more silly, people. More and more silly. Well, I think that said, we're gonna have to leave this one here. Yeah, I appreciate coming by, you know, hanging out, watching this week's videos. It was fun to get out and wander around. Fun to show my favorite things, my Thunder eggs, chat about them, and all of that good stuff. I hope you're able to get out, do a little bit of rockhounding. All right, y'all take care. Thank you so much for watching my entire video. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel and you would like to support the work that I'm doing even further, you can do so by becoming a channel member down below by just hitting the join button. Doing so will give you access to a growing library of videos and posts, and it really goes a long way in supporting the channel. So thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate each and every one of you.